again. I'm Timmie.
And I'm Jeanette.
And we are having conversations. Our last conversation was so fun. We're doing it on the same day. We might do this quite a bit. But we typically get together and have some amazing conversations. And we walk away with our brains blown or elevated, whatever you want to call it, life up leveled. And we wanted to invite you to join the conversation. We picked topics and put it in our trusty little owl. And Jeanette is going to pick a topic for today, and we're just going to have a conversation. So welcome.
Picking a winner.
Winner, winner, winner. Which thought is a winner? And while she's looking, I wanted to tell you that, as you can tell, she's really tall and I'm really short. So we're kind of like Mutt and Jeff. Some of these references I make, because I'm older too, you may not understand, but you can Google it. Okay.
We'll get her a booster seat.
Yeah,
she'll be the same height as me at some point. People will go, what was that about? Okay, so this one is really interesting, and this one's a hot topic for me right now. Super on my mind. This is not the one that I was worried about, but it's a really good topic because I'm figuring out the aspect of it that comes first. So this is about healthy attachment.
And healthy attachment.
Oh yeah. So for me, have you ever looked into attachment styles?
No, I've heard it briefly, but I never delved in. So
right, and I never.
So tell me.
I never had either, and I don't know why this came across my. Something comes across your awareness, and it feels very resonant at the moment. So you kind of dive a little bit deeper. And I had some YouTube video flash across my, awareness, and it was about anxious attachment. I never really looked into it besides, I understand there's attachment styles and whatever, never really thought much about it. So I started watching more information about anxious attachment. Very much me to a level that's kind of annoying at best. Because it was my parenting style, it's everything, and I know that it's coming across my awareness now because I'm at a stage where it's time. I have the space to now make that shift into healthy attachment. From the place though of just now learning about anxious attachment, what that's done for me as far as how that helped me at some point in life, and then no longer helps you and actually harms your life at other times. So yeah, I'm on a journey currently of finding out, discovering, and implementing healthy attachment styles, types, aspects, however you want to look at it.
So I don't really know much about the topic. I can assume what it means, but I still.
Of which part? So for me,
I would say because we like to elevate where we're going. What does healthy attachment? What does that mean? And that's what you're striving for. So what does that look like? What is it? Talk to me about that.
Healthy attachment would be me internally feeling safe and secure in life, just in life. I parented through fear. I've had all my relationships through fear. I've lived my life through fear. It's just always been about that. And I really would not, 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, I would not have said that's true for me. But now that I'm looking through all the different aspects of my life, it's very, very true. I started to realize it about parenting, but I didn't recognize it being so prevalent in all areas. So I think it's, for me at this moment, it's finding ways to feel safe inside of myself, and not having it be about any conditions or any circumstances. And I guess the attachment part of it is because we are in relation, you know, we know
Connection.
that relationships are
Yeah.
just life. Yeah, I want that to be under all kinds of circumstances.
So attachment is just a term. It's more like connections, relationships.
Right.
I mean, friendships, work relationship, any attachment. Is that kind of,
Yeah.
or is it geared only to romantic relationships?
No, it's everything, because
Okay.
what I figured out is the anxious attachment, it also plays out for me. It plays out with food. It plays out with almost like addictive thought patterns, or addictively trying to uh uh, get more information about self-help. And I mean, it can go into all kinds of areas, not even just personal relationships
Mhm.
or with people.
So it sounds like, through my interpretation and filter that I heard, is the healthy attachment, the healthy connection is going back inward.
Yeah.
And it's not like disconnecting from the outer relationship or the outer connection, but taking care of letting this be healthy within. And part of that is feeling safe within the body.
Right.
Okay. I don't know much about the attachment thing. I'll have to look into that. But I definitely know some of the things that have helped me the most in moving forward in um, becoming a coach and actually coaching clients
Right.
and feeling comfortable coaching clients was safety inside myself.
Right.
I had to feel safe within myself or it was not going to happen. And I didn't realize that. But as I started working with my nervous system and doing anything I could, my goal was to feel safe within my own body.
Okay.
Is that something that you think is what might help with healthy attachments?
Oh,
Because it
yeah.
has helped me with, my coworkers, all of my relationships, because I feel safe within myself. I trust myself. I have my back.
Right.
I'm not relying on the outer. I'm less focused on the outer and more focused on how can I take care of myself and help myself feel safe. Does
Right.
that fit into that for you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And the other thing that's been opening up around it, as I've been looking further into this, it has also been the relationship. You know, I've heard, again, we've been in this world for so long. We've heard terms and I've heard about things for so long, but they just didn't land. They just
Mhm.
didn't. I guess it wasn't time.
Mhm.
I can say that now. I guess it wasn't
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
for that to really be fleshed out fully in some fashion. But inner child work, you know,
Mhm.
we've heard that for a million years, and you just think, okay, I think I have done some inner child work. I can say that now because I thought I had done inner child work many times in my life, and then I realized that I had not done inner child work from this one particular perspective, which I was not aware of until lately, which is there is an inner child, but in order to do inner child work, there has to be an inner adult.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the inner adult is vastly different than the adult that I am here in this body as, because the adult that I'm here in this body as is not as authentic
Mhm.
as what I can make the inner adult, not make, but who the inner adult needs to be.
Right.
So I've always done inner child work from the perspective of me pretending to be an adult, speaking to a child or dealing with a child, which from the perspective that I was at that time was not as a very healthy adult.
Mhm.
So that makes sense as to why that didn't work.
Mhm.
And now it's more about, I guess in a way, it's more inner adult work than it is inner child work. Because now, as I work on the inner adult, as I work on, instead of like maybe if I've made a mistake, instead of beating myself up over it, if I remember, wait, I'm the adult in here, and the last thing that I want to do is scare this child.
Mhm.
So let me calm down. The inner child automatically starts to relax. You know does that make sense?
Kind of. I'm kind of visualizing it as almost, because I remember, I mean, you just throughout our lives, we've done a lot of inner child work and self-care. And I remember when I first started, um, I would tell my inner child, things that it's always wanted to hear, and it wouldn't believe me.
Hmm.
It was because my inner child is seeing what I'm doing and experiencing the actions. We're going to talk about this subject at some point, but what you, I can't, what is it? Hold on. Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying.
Hmm.
And that's what my inner child was like, yeah,
Yeah.
who you are is speaking so loudly. It doesn't matter what you say to me because I don't believe it. I believe what you're doing. And what I'm hearing as you're talking is that was the that was my inner adult and my outer adult. That was the best I could do in that moment.
Right.
It's almost like our inner adult and our outer selves grow, our adult self, we grow together, but our inner adult almost is further ahead than us in the outer,
Can be, yeah.
and almost like can I don't know what to say. Let's see. It's like higher self, like connected a little bit more to the higher self than we maybe at times. So the inner adult almost grew a little bit faster than the outer adult. And now it's like, oh wait, I have this inner adult who now is going to take over and say, okay, wait a second. I'm not going to beat my child up because, verbally, because I'm the adult. So it's almost like a new connection being made to that inner adult. That's more what it's like. Before it was this inner adult was inside us all the time, but it's almost like our outer self was what was trying to um take care of the inner child.
Right.
And we didn't know what we were doing.
No.
And so now it's like, oh, wait a second, there's this inner adult that I'm connected with, and we are going to have this healthy attachment. We are going to connect.
Mhm.
And with this new connection, now we can create a whole new healthy relationship with our inner child. So we've already set up some of the work.
Yes.
We did do some of the work.
Yeah.
Not, we did the best we could, just like our parents did the best they could. We do the best we could with the capacity we had at that moment. And because we have conversations like this all the time, our capacity is able to grow a little bit and more and more.
Absolutely. Yeah, the inner child has to trust us. It's almost like the inner child has more say over our lives. I mean,
Mhm.
we really do kind of trick ourselves into thinking that we are out here living our lives when in reality
Our inner child is
this
living our
inner
life.
child is literally pushing all the buttons and
Yeah.
making all this stuff happen, and we have no idea that that's what's occurring.
Mhm.
And it's all because the inner child can't trust us to make good adult decisions
Right.
from that space of being unhealthy, which is fascinating because if we knew that, instead of spending our adult life feeling like there's something wrong with us, if we knew that the inner child's need was to help us grow, it's almost like in school, we go to school as children and we have a teacher who tells us what lesson's next, right?
Mhm.
When you become an adult, there's nobody there to say, this
Mhm.
is your next lesson. This
Mhm.
is your next,
Right.
although there is.
Yeah.
There is. But every time we had one of those lessons show up, we felt like there was something wrong with us. We felt
Mhm.
like that we were broken.
It was
We
like a
felt like,
smack in the face
yes,
instead of a gentle kiss saying,
yes,
"Here's your lesson."
here's the next one. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that just fascinates me that we spend our adult life so far off course.
Yeah.
It's wild to think about.
Is it far off course or are we right on course?
Exactly.
We're
Well,
finding our
yeah,
way, our own way.
exactly. Hmm. Yeah, but it's definitely
New.
a new
Mhm.
perspective for me to hang out in and really care about that child, because the thing that I've noticed is the unsafe, feeling that
Mhm.
unsafety, and then my first thought is, okay, so how do you create safety for your inner child? And the first thing that I noticed was my inner child is terrified because the thoughts that I'm thinking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are scaring the bejesus out of it, literally.
That's going to be another topic for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
that's a whole
Yeah.
nother episode. Yes.
Going on social media, watching the news, knowing about this thing, and my thoughts were scaring it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had to monitor
Mhm.
things completely different. And it's not about this person or that thing out there. It's not about any of that. I have been literally terrorizing my inner child with my inner thoughts
Mm-hmm.
this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder it couldn't find balance. No wonder it couldn't find safety. No wonder it wasn't experiencing a relaxed state of being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now how do you turn that around?
The only thing that I know so far is just knowing I can create safety,
Mm-hmm.
even having those conversations at times, like, what happened the other day? Something happened the other day. Can't remember if it had to do with money, which money is a big subject for
Mm-hmm.
me and a lot of people. Can't remember if it was about money, but I could feel myself. I could feel myself starting to, tense up and getting all anxious. And I realized, okay, my inner child needs soothing. But in the moment, I didn't have a solution.
Mm-hmm.
So I really stopped and just had this, inner dialogue with myself that was, I know you're feeling afraid. I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
afraid too. I'm not exactly sure how to solve this problem, but I can promise you that I'm right here with you and I'm not leaving. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And just in that moment, I was able to feel that gentle softening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just learning, it's going to be a learning time of just me and my inner child, and not even me, my inner adult and my inner child creating a relationship. And yeah, that's as far as I've gotten with it so far because it's really new to me.
Mm-hmm. The when I first discovered how I really need to feel safe within my body, because I do not feel safe inside my body. You had shared with me a video that was like a Psych K video. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I would do that daily. And the words I used was, I am safe. I am safe.
Right.
I am safe. And I will do this sometimes when I feel not safe. A hand on the heart, hand on the belly. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And just coming back to myself to feel safe.
Yeah, that putting
And
it in
I've
the
done it
body.
quite a bit. So, I mean, I feel like it's more integrated. That's more integrated. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I had the same feeling. Mine was like my heart and my solar plexus.
yeah.
It feels like that's that between those two things, it feels like that's where all the tension is. It's almost like the inner child kind of lives in the kind of belly, in the intestines, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I can tell when my anxiety hits,
Mm-hmm.
all the digestive issues, all the
Yeah.
things, I
So those
really.
little cues that are already telling us, hey, she's not feeling so good right now. She's not feeling safe.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
really suspect that all of that digestive struggle that I've had for so many years has strictly been an unhealed inner child, unhealed um, relationship between the adult that I was trying to become
Mm-hmm.
and the inner child who still needed my attention and I just wasn't willing to give it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think mine, as you're talking, I'm having some images come up of experiences I've had where, like, I'd be talking to somebody and they'd give me a look. Didn't mean anything.
Right.
They were in their own world doing their own thing, had nothing to do with me, but I took it and I ran with it. And I think that was part of the moment where I realized, oh, I don't feel safe in my body. And it's because of the way I'm interpreting things.
Right.
Because I have this filter that the world's not safe.
Right.
And so I had to do a lot of work, a lot of nervous system regulation, a lot of little techniques, just to calm my nervous system down and remind myself that I'm safe. And those people that I'm around who've given looks and they still give looks has nothing to do with me, but I feel safe within my body now. So maybe that attachment has become healthier,
Nice. Yeah.
that relationship. So I like the idea of healthy connection or healthy relationship a little bit better than a healthy attachment. I just haven't dived enough into that subject. But what's helped me the most was emotional intelligence, regulating the emotions, managing the emotions, nervous system regulation. I think those are some of the things that have really helped the most in what I'm understanding you meaning by healthy attachments.
Yeah, yeah, I think like you said, the relationship word, I mean, any of that can be there. I'm, the word attachment, I think it's there because we develop these things from the time that we're babies, generally
For our
babies.
survival,
Well, and it's
the time.
it's interesting though, because I was thinking of McKady, my granddaughter, who is just over a year old, and when she was born, the circumstances that she was born under required us to, she was kind of put aside, because there
Mhm.
were pressing things that we had to deal with. And so she was put here, not in a neglectful way, but once we started dealing with my son, we couldn't get back to her until we finished this. There was no option to shift gears.
Right.
And while she was a baby, she was really, really good. I mean, okay, not really, really good. She was calm and quiet generally. If she needed something, she would cry, it
Yeah.
was normal, but she was generally very content to just hang out and wait for us. And if she fussed a little bit, she would fuss, but it was not that big of a deal. So fast forward to after his passing, and now McKady has the ability to get attention. But here's what is so fascinating to me. So now she's at this stage, a year, a little over, or over a year, and every single time she wants attention, she screams. I mean, we're talking 0 to 10 without a shadow, without anything in between. There's no preparation for it. She just screams for everything. And I was thinking about it the other day, and what's fascinating to me is I think that we develop these attachment styles so organically, it's not even about safety. I think what it is for her is at some point she connected that if I scream, my need gets met. It's like we talk about with the dogs. If a dog wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning once, the next morning it will do the same thing, although it's only happened one time, but its need got met. And so it automatically in the brain registers this need gets met by this thing. And she got paid off because she waited. We had her waiting until she screamed. When she got super, super out of, out of control,
Right.
we would fulfill her need. Now she just knows that to fulfill my need, I need to be at 10. It happened so organically. It's almost mind-boggling that in that short period of time, she has already programmed herself to meet her attachment needs in that way, which we can imagine is not going to be healthy or good as she gets older. But at the same time, all she did was get her needs met. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm just trying to figure out how it fits in with safety, not safety.
Well, it wasn't about safety.
Or
It was about
How
a
it
need.
began?
Right. It was just about a need.
Okay.
All she did was her
Right.
biology essentially recognized a need, and this is what gets my need met. And every biological organism has needs. Every one of them, even one-celled creatures have needs, or one-celled, things. They have needs. So every biological organism has a need and has a thing that
Right.
gets the need met.
Right. I understand that. I'm trying to figure out how it fits with the healthy attachment
Well, it's
versus the
it's
anxious
it's just
attachment.
not about
versus-
safety at first. So for
At
me,
first?
at first,
Okay,
right.
that's where I was
Sorry,
lost.
yeah,
Okay, I was lost there because I'm like, I still think it's about safety, but I thought you said, okay,
Once-
how we start the process of deterioration of
Right.
healthy attachments are trying to get our needs met.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like these are biological functions.
Yes, yes, yes,
Need,
yes.
meeting the need.
Even love.
Need,
Yeah, it
meeting
needs to
the
be
need.
love. Yeah.
Yeah, need, meeting the need. Now, after age 7, when our brain starts to
Right.
change, I think we start to develop ideas
Yeah.
about how we were getting our needs met.
Right.
And we hear more about people telling us, don't meet your needs that way. Don't ask for your needs that
Right.
way. Don't deal with your needs that way. After 7, those kind of things start to happen. And that's when I think we start to get more of a safety issue.
Right.
We start
The
to
world's
wrap,
not safe.
right.
Okay.
We start to wrap more emotions around it
I'm
later
not
on.
safe unless I,
Right.
yeah.
Prior, it's strictly just a biological function.
Right.
Which is fascinating. That part is fascinating to me.
Right.
Because if a child were to be dropped in the middle of a jungle, it would do whatever it had to do to get its needs met.
yeah.
And if its needs got met in any fashion, it would continue,
Right.
obviously, yeah, it would just continue to do that.
Right.
And if nobody ever told it that was wrong, it would never develop a perception that the world was unsafe at all. It would just be the way its needs got met.
Mm-hmm.
Like every other biological organism on the planet, besides humans.
Yeah.
We just develop a story.
And then back to healthy attachment. Tell me again, healthy attachment. What does that look like? What does that feel like?
Healthy attachment feels like a healthy relationship between my inner adult and my inner child. It feels like feeling safe inside, even if the conditions externally aren't under my control.
Yes.
That's huge for me.
Yes.
Um,
That's where the power lies, is our ability to respond to life the way we choose versus reacting to life. So there's a lot of power in that, with the inner adult acting with the taking care of the inner child. I keep saying it, I keep thinking to myself, all of this stuff is an inside job. All of this stuff is an inside job. All of this stuff is an inside job. And nobody can do it for us. We can only do it for ourselves. I mean, there's people along the way that can make the journey softer. Like having you along for the ride has really made my life much easier and much more enjoyable. Especially the way we kind of banter with each other and figure things out. But the work is an inside job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So healthy attachment would be healthy relationship with ourselves.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think so.
Ooh, I like this.
I do too.
All right. Feel good?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will meet again and invite you to our next conversation. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
That was a fun one.